Hare Krishna. Obeisances to all the devotees. And this temple, it's a wonderful temple. These are very, very looks beautiful after getting newly painted. And I invite all of you to come sometime whenever you are in India. Please come and stay whatever number you give. So just enjoy Radha. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Gaurani Thai, Jaya Gaurani Thai, Gaurani Thai, Jaya Gaurani Thai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Gaur, Hari Gaur, Hari Gaur, Hari Gaur. जय परमात्मा परिवार जगताचार्य सोतर सत्संग श्रीमद् श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की स्थान फाउंडराचार्य डिवाइन श्रील प्रभुपाद की रामाचार्य श्री दास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गोवर्धन धाम की श्री वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप धाम की मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथ क्षेत्र नीलाचल धाम की गंगा जमुना माई की तुलसी महारानी की भक्ति देवी की भुवन मंगल हरिनाम संकीर्तन की ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन वरद मृदंग की संवेद भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru. So, now I am going to speak about the journey of the soul, how the soul goes from one place to another, and how it could be retrieved back by transcendental knowledge. Whole Bhagavad-Gita chapter number 4, it is about Divya Gyan, transcendental knowledge. So there was an article that I was just reading yesterday only or today only, story of Jivatma. in Back to Godhead magazine in 2020. So we may be thinking sometime that Krishna is very compassionate, is very kind. Means we hear about that, but we see that everybody is suffering in the material world. If he is so kind, why does he let us suffer? Why does he let us go our journey from spiritual world to material world to so many lifetimes, like we change so many bodies, so many reincarnations, and suffer immensely? Why does not he just take us right away? So is he a tyrant? Is he a uh, egoistic? So if he is many like merciful character, he has to do something to take us back home immediately. So by reading this story of a Jiva means one who is alive, the Jiva, the soul. So his story is one of the Jivatma. He's in the spiritual kingdom with Krishna, enjoying very nicely, serving him. But then because of a little independence that he has, then he thinks that why not I enjoy myself separately? Why I should stay here and serve Krishna? Let me enjoy somewhere else. So because once a minute that thought comes, then Krishna has created this material world also. So he's sent to this material world. So let him try his separate enjoyment. So he comes to this material world and goes, like you have heard about this city nine gates. It is in that same line, like it is that Uranjan. Ur means the city. So we have this nine gates. That is about also Jivatma is also same. So now he is going, and because in this material world everybody is envious, everybody is competing with each other, everybody wants to enjoy the most. So there is always a constant fight between different species, different people. I am stronger, so I could kill certain animals, eat that. So this is goes on. There is never any that what he was thinking that I would be more happy, but he never became happy. He always struggling, always envious, always trying to get more and more, becoming lusty, becoming greedy. Uh, so in this way, he's passing, and he forgets that where he came from, what is his original place that he was enjoying with Krishna, and he forgets about that why he is suffering. It is Maya which covers our intelligence. It is ignorance of about who we are, ignorance our relationship with Krishna, who we are. We don't know our relationship with Krishna, who is Krishna, and what should be done. So he does not even think of mitigating. He tries some different ways to see that he becomes a happier. Even but he wants to what he wants to get to become an enjoyer. He wants to possess more and more things. So he wants to be Ishwar, Malik, controller. So he wants to enjoy. He becomes a controller, and he wants that it is all his. He is the one who is the doer. Although he is not doer, but we work our all the activity are done under the three modes of nature. But he forgets that there is some higher power. Uh, he just thinks me and mine. Whatever he does, me means body, and mine means whatever related to the body. Wife, children, home, earth, country, even universe, whatever he may say, it is attended selfishness. Even if you think of whole India or whole universe or doesn't matter. So in this way, so real bhokta, so he thinks that he is a proprietor, he is an enjoyer, yeah, and in this way he is trying to take whatever he can do. So but in Bhagavad-Gita, the text says bhoktaram yagitabasam sarvalokam maheshwaram shuhadam sarvabhutanam yasgyatva mam shanti mrajyati. That bhoktara, that enjoyer is bhokta means enjoyer. We offer bhoga means Krishna is enjoying, let him enjoy first, because we are his servants, we have to serve him. So bhoktaram yagya tap or whatever you do, yat karoshi bhoktaram yagya tap sarva loka maheshwara. He is Maha Ishwar, controller. Ishwar means controller. Ishwar means Malik also you could say. So controller, he is controlling everything, but we think that I am the controller. But what can we control? We can't control our destiny, we can't control our body, what would happen tomorrow. But we think that I am independent and I can control whatever I survey, that I can control them. But it's not possible. Shuhadam, he is our well-wisher. It's our, we begin with that, we think that he is the well-wisher, but we don't see, by seeing the material world, we don't see that he is really well-wisher, why we are suffering. If he is a real well-wisher, just like a benevolent father would see that we don't fall into some trap. So what it is Krishna is doing, we don't understand. So by studying his Jivatma's journey, we can understand that how compassionate, what he is doing, we can understand all that. So in that line, he just goes on from one life to another to become happy. And Maya grabs him. Maya pushes him that, okay, come, eludes that we will be happy by doing this, by doing this. So on and on. And we never think that there is happiness somewhere. He thinks that happiness, what he thinks, is that in between two uh, problems or two sufferings, there is some little relief. Like in olden days, somebody is dunked into the water, a thief or some criminal is dunked into the water. He remains in the water till he exhausts, and then they pull him back for a few seconds. Oh, how much relief! So that relief is what we really get in the material world. Is two suffering and little bit relief, and we think that is enjoyment. But our soul is completely different. It does not enjoy such short-term things. Soul is eternal, and we need eternal things to enjoy, not temporary things. These temporary things cannot make us cannot really enjoy. Our enjoy means a bliss. Bliss, it is not the same. Is a temporary flickering. Anyway, whatever we do, the body is going to last. Body means is going to go away, and we have to take another reincarnate. Reincarnation is a fact. Many, it's not that once we die, everything is finished. That is not true. And it's not that we will remain. Some people ask that we are human being, then we will remain as human being. That is also not true. We could become through 8.4 million species of life, whatever desire that we have at the end of life, or if we want to become like eat some meat, then we become like lions or tigers. If you want to show our body, then you become tree. So in various ways that we take another and another body, and we think that is the best, but that is not the best and material world. So it is, so we have very hard time in this material world, and until we find. So Jivatma, because of his free will, he watches, and he feels very much sorry that my son is suffering. He has compassion, and he wants to show of this material existence. He periodically discusses this material world, amazing pastimes to inspire us, Jivatma, uh, and others also. So he sends his, he gives instructions, he shows his pastimes, he shows how benevolent, how nice he is. He sends his devotees, and he shows us the path how to reach back to our real home, eternal abode. And so he sends his trusted associates to inspire by words and by example. So they have to create the example. So somehow or another, by out of this 8.4 million species of life, he gets a this dress, human body. That is a dress. Uh, so he gets this dress, and now he has unique opportunity to inquire. Now his mind is a little bit more open. He has intelligence, and he is questioning and reasoning, which in another species of life there is no questioning, there is no reasoning, and we don't inquire. So perplexed about the apparently random distribution of fortune and misfortune around him, he gradually begins to realize that the material world is not a good place, or it is not a place at all. It is not a great place. He thought in the beginning. In fact, uh, inhospitable place where almost everyone is envious and self-serving. But having spent countless lifetimes in the material world, he has completely forgotten that he has his origin or original position in the spiritual world. So he does not, even after knowing, even after being a human being, most of the human beings don't inquire about who they are, what is their position, why they are suffering, although it should be inquired, but he just, because of he's covered, his mind is covered, his soul is covered. You may say, can the soul, spiritual soul, can be covered? Yes, it can be covered, and we forget, we think that I am the body, and so me means the body. So Jivatma meets somehow in this quest for happiness. He meets a bona fide spiritual master, who, though in the material world, he is fully self-realized, and he is most of the time he is sent by Krishna to help the fallen souls. So Jivatma submissively questions his spiritual master and learns about his own original position and his current temporary situation. So Jivatma is a conditioned soul, conditioned by many lives of identifying with his mortal body. So even though he hears about his true original position, he does not know sincerely to reclaim his position. Although he's hearing from some guru, from some sadhu, but from some shastra, but still he's so much covered that he cannot really understand that this is the path, this is what I. So he's ignorant and he does not take those instructions because of. So when the he is being instructed that you have to become pure to learn this, so then he follows certain principles of no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit relation to further purify the Jivatma's consciousness. Is a spiritual master. Means this is all a gradual process. It's not, it may be done in one lifetime, it may be many, many lifetimes. At least somewhere he has to begin his journey that now uh, I have to end my this suffering. There is this instruction. So he sees around him, he sees the devotees, he sees that they are happy, and he tries to adopt. So he starts chanting. So initially, four regulative principles he starts following, and to become more pure, he chants the holy name of Krishna, which are identical with Krishna. Krishna and his name, Bhagavad, and Krishna himself, there is no difference. He dutifully follows instruction of his spiritual master, but in the beginning, he has no test for this. For both the name or shastra or chanting or regulative principles, he begins to mechanically follow the daily procedures for worshipping Krishna given to him by his spiritual master. In the meantime, he patiently suffers his karmic reaction. It's not that karmic reaction would just go away, although karmic reaction should go away when he is chanting purely. So suffers his karmic reaction, accepting them as Krishna, but he accepts that they are by Krishna's mercy. So now he is following the instruction of the spiritual master. Gradually he begins to relish the chanting of the holy name as promised by his spiritual master. The potency of the holy name is slowly and surely cleaning away many lifetimes of material conditioning. So नित्य सिद्ध कृष्ण प्रेम साध्य कबोलाय श्रवणादि शुद्ध चित्ते कराय उदय. That Krishna prem is eternally inbuilt. It is there with the soul. Just like soul is there, presence of the soul you know by consciousness. Presence of soul you know by thinking, feeling, willing. That is there. That is means we are conscious, but materially conscious or spiritually conscious. But we are conscious, and that is because of the presence of the soul. Now, how do we identify that? Because this mind is there is an interface of the false ego, or you may say that we become so much attached to the mind, we think that whatever is happening in the mind is uh, is my own, but it is not. Mind is completely separate, but because of the attachment to the mind, we think that whatever is happening is because of me, means the soul. Soul has nothing to do with the mind. Mind is a material, a subtle substance, like grass body and subtlety, but it is so much it has covered up our soul. You may say how it can be covered up by gradually becoming attached to. Just like you have a Rolls Royce car and you become attached to the car, and anything happens to the car, nothing happens to you. But what do you think? It I got hit. If it happens to your child, you think that I got hurt. But it is child is suffering, you are not. But because of his identification with him, we feel that I am suffering or it is me. Because of the same thing that when we see that this mind, if my, all these thoughts of enjoying, suffering, food is palatable, it is all in the mind. Some food may be palatable, but it is not innate in the food. It is in our mind that we think it is very palatable. Just like somebody is eating eggs or meat, they may vomit, devotees. But others, they enjoy so much that. So it is not in the food or any substance or any enjoyment that we see in the material world. It has nothing to do with those enjoyment. We have put all in our mind, and that is called material conditioning. But these processes, they gradually clean away many lifetimes of this Baddha Jiva. So Jivatma begins to realize this impermanence of the material body and eternity of the spiritual soul by following the process of chanting and getting out of these four regulative principles. He then inquires more from his spiritual master, and having pleased him by rendering service to him, his spiritual master reciprocates by teaching more about Krishna and the process for returning to the spiritual world. And he lovingly relates many pastimes of Krishna and his associates. In Bhagavatam, so many associates, Ambarish Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj. You see so many. So by that lifetime, we understand that what is the process, how Krishna reciprocates with them. So sincerely performing his regulated worship, Jivatma shows a sincere desire to return to Godhead. His practices purify his consciousness, and he gradually develops latest love for God, no latent love, which is there. As I said, that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, Sadhya Kavu Nahi. Sadhya means the goal, he does not make it. But Shravanadi, if we become pure, then Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. Sadhya means like we have a relationship with Krishna, there is a process and there is a goal. So that goal is a sadhya that you have to obtain. So by Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte, by hearing pure consciously, purely hearing and following the process in our life, then we can develop our soul with the purified soul, which will understand that we are related to Krishna. Right now it is contaminated soul, Baddha Jiva. So Krishna gives Jivatma many realizations about himself and the eternal loving relationship with Jivatma that he had enjoyed in the past. So in this way, he is blessed. The Jivatma is blessed, and relishing the nectar of the holy name, understanding the name to be identical with Krishna, his ritualistic worship now becomes truly ecstatic, since he sees no difference between Krishna and his deity. He understands that the true position is not in the material world, so he becomes detached from the material trappings of wealth, power, followers, glory. The same free will that he misused in the beginning to leave the Krishna, now the same that Jivatma is now using the free will to return back home. Krishna is most pleased to reclaim his last son, who has suffered much out of his own desire to enjoy separately. Seeing that Jivatma sincerely desires to return home back, back to Godhead, Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, welcomes him back. Jivatma returns to the spiritual world, ecstatic uh, about his returning to a place where he can eternally serve his Lord without envy, free from the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. So that is the happy ending of this, like this Jivatma. We are all Jivatma. We all were in the spiritual world. We fell to this material world by our free will. So like Jivatma, we have transmigrated through countless forms of life, form enjoying and suffering, our karmic reactions. So I hope and pray that like Jivatma, we will all also be fortunate to surrender to a spiritual master and by his mercy and our sincere desire, return home back to Godhead. Now you say, what is the need for the spiritual master? One may ask that, why this interface, the interperson, God and you are the spirit soul, there is this. But Krishna does not interfere with his free will, or he just let it live. That is, he has created this, that let them take care in parampara, and he does not want to be bothered. If somebody is already a devotee lover, he plays with him. He just enjoys with him, and the rest of the work is given to the predecessors, the spiritual master, are in line of uh, spiritual succession, or you may say. So Krishna in like Balramji is serving. Then there is like you may say Radharani or Narad Muni or Brahmaji. They have the knowledge and they pass this knowledge, transcendental knowledge, Divya Gyan, pass this to the Jivatma. So we just pray that we also learn from this thing. Now I will tell you about more about this. There are in Bhagavad-Gita, there are four places in transcendental knowledge. The topic is transcendental knowledge, fourth chapter. So how it is compared. So one of my friends, the colleague, he was a he had lot of general knowledge, immense general knowledge. He knew the names of the recent Hollywood and Bollywood movies, actors, directors, producers, and he winners of the Oscar and Filmfare awards. Means many ways. Wherever some book comes about sports, winners of the Grand Slam, means tennis tournaments, and many angle. So one was will be impressed that how much knowledge he has, and he was a voracious reader, and somebody may be struggling to the basic uh, mathematical and scientific formulas and somehow pass the exam, but people they ask that I should become like him, ability to retain at least at least even half or 1/10 of that. So but when person comes to Krishna consciousness, uh, it is just felt by the, like I felt less impressed by this friend's general knowledge. I learned that knowledge is meant to, what is the purpose of knowledge? To produce good character and ultimately uh, devotion to God. That is so called knowledge of the world is incomplete, because incomplete material world knowledge is changing all the time. There is nothing stagnant, there is nothing fixed, every time it is changing. So retaining the so much information, it is like you just over put so many things in the brain, and that won't really help you, because it would not clear it. You would be more and more confused. This man who had so much knowledge, he was living very dirty. The place was would be like a stale. He started drinking, and he did not know the purpose behind this knowledge. He learned so many, read so many books, but what is the purpose behind it? Unless we have goal fixed in, our goal is to get out of this birth, death, old age and disease, that we are all trying, but we cannot get out of that. So you have to read Bhagavad Gita page after page, learning this under the direction of the spiritual master. So, so we have to learn what is who is the supreme Lord, who is the what is the spirit, who is the controller of both of them. So such knowledge must transform out our heart by invoking our divine nature, expressed by the displaying divine qualities like cleanliness, forgiveness, compassion, love. We all want to love and be loved. We want to love someone, and that is our love should go to Krishna, and he loves us also. He reciprocates. And love for all the living beings we should have, because they are all children of Krishna. Mamai Vansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Everybody is child of Krishna, and they are related to us, and we love them, all living beings. Do not take advantage of them. Uh, so this friend was very much up to date on everything current, what is happening, and in academics he did well, but he clearly did not possess all these divine qualities. Always unclean, he was addicted to many nasty habits. He doubted the existence of God. Even granting his existence, God, he never supported existence of God. He never really in favor of that. So in this way, so in same thing in spiritual life, we may read many books, but the purpose is to understand our goal and stick to our goal. Like Prabhupada says, you don't need to read many books. You just read whatever is to develop our relationship with God and go back home. So rather than too many, so material knowledge is called Jad Vidya. Jad means it is dead. Jad means like these are all Jad. Uh, Jad Vidya, and then spiritual knowledge is called Paravidya. Paravidya and Jad Vidya. Knowledge of the Paravidya is knowledge of the transcendence. Transcendence means beyond this material world, beyond this matter or material world. That is Jad Vidya. Uh, this Paravidya can help us attain liberation from the material world, and Jad Vidya will keep you into the material world. And so, with this Vidya, we can take us to eternity, peaceful spiritual world. Knowledge of the spirit is considered a transcendental, because it can free us from our conditioning material existence. Sat, Chita, and Ananda. We are Sat, eternal. Chit means knowledge, and Satchit and Ananda, that is bliss that we are looking for, which we cannot get in the material world. So Bhagavad Gita is renowned as a jewel of the India's spiritual wisdom, because it presents the condensed essence of all transcendental knowledge one needs to know to perfect the human mission. Our human mission is to go back home, back to Godhead, in loving devotional service to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explains the unique position of the Gita. One will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of Gita. I will just read a little bit on first verse, first chapter. Uh, that Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport. It's very nice, so I thought that I will make introduction. Bhagavad-Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in Gita Mahatmya. There it says that one should read Bhagavad-Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is devotee of Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. The example of the understanding is there in Bhagavad Gita itself. Clear understanding is there in the way the teaching is understood by Arjun, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, most of the interpretation is motivated. Means they want to express their thoughts through Gita because Gita is so famous, but you don't get the real knowledge. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave the title as it is. Yatha Roop, as it is given, that is the way that we should understand. Bhagavad Gita uh, contains like all the content in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of Gita, it is, as it is. That is the perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. So, this knowledge, transcendental knowledge upon us, how does it benefit us? Lord Krishna uses four analogies uh, to answer these questions. So, there is in 437, there is a verse that is compared to this transcendental knowledge is compared to fire, Agni. What Agni does? It burns away all the baggage that we are carrying, good or bad, it burns everything. Say, why I should burn good things? Because good things are also temporary. You have to live in the material world, like you may given your body life for serving. If it is not a devotional service, but you have donated so much money. But if it is not for the purpose of Krishna, you have donated for many poor people, or you have built so much pyaus or food, and you are giving food or clothing or medicine. So these are all pious activity, punya. Punya karma keeps you in the material world. You will not get sick if you are donating medicine. You will not become hungry in the next life. You will get things, or you will not be thirsty, but they are not devotional activity. Devotional activity is between Krishna and you. You have to serve Krishna. And through Krishna, all the humanity is served automatically. It's not that you have to serve humanity and Krishna would be pleased. Krishna is a separate individual, is a person, is a personality, he has personality. And we have to, because he is the Samaonam, he is cause of everything, then pleasing him is the root cause. So if you water the root, whole tree becomes green and happy and nice fruits and flowers. But if you just serve individual like leaves, flowers, fruits, will tree would survive? Or if you are out of the water, our real position is that we are part of Krishna. But a fish becoming out of the water cannot enjoy. She will suffer and die eventually. So we are dying our spiritual death. You may say, what is spiritual death? The spirit does not die. Means it is more covered up when we remain in the material world. So it is as a fire. So a condition so accumulates much karma during many lifetimes in the material world. In every human life, the living entity cultivates various desires and acts accordingly, either piously or sinfully. And whether the actions are pious or sinful, inescapable reactions arise out of each action. One must enjoy the good reaction and also suffer the bad reaction sometimes in the future. So just like Dhritarashtra killed 50, no 100 of the little pigeons, little birds by a net and put fire on that. And so he had to take birth again, and his after 50 lifetimes he came as Dhritarashtra, and then his all the 100 sons were killed by Bhima alone. So it can, but this fire of transcendental knowledge, it can burn up all reactions at once, both good and bad. So Jnanagni, so I'll just read that verse from Bhagavad Gita 4:37. यथैधांसि समेधोग्निर्भस्मसात् कुरुते अर्जुन अनाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjun, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activity. So reactions to pious activity, some people would, oh, I have done so much work, but it burns posteriorly and priority. Means previous, whatever you have done in previous lives and in the next life to come, it burns all the reaction of all current, past, and future. You may say, oh, in future I will become good. Why I should really burn all this? No, I should not. But you have to accept this Jnana Agni, because even in the future, if something that you are doing very pious activity and you may enjoy as an Indra, but Shine Punya Mrityu Lokam Vishanti. When your Punya are finished, then you have to come back again to act. So you cannot be enjoy forever. You will come back. So let the pious activity also get burned. Pious means punya karma. Punya karma has nothing to do with devotional service. Devotional service is like Nauda Bhakta. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Archanam Padasevanam Ismaranam Vandanam Dashyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. So there is nothing like this Gyan. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge, that's what we discuss, we take, and the process to get that knowledge. Just as I wrote this Jivatma, that he followed his spiritual master, he was chanting, he was refraining from sinful activities, offering, serving the deity form, and gradually it purifies. But it may not be immediately. It may take certain time. Uh, so So there is another verse. So this is one comparison is to the fire. That Gyan Agni is like a fire. And knowledge is compared also as a boat that you can cross over. Because this material world is called Bhava Sagar. Bhava means Sansar, this material world. What is the meaning of Sansar? What Sansar means? पुनरपि जननम पुनरपि मरणम जननी जठरे अग्निशयनम यह संसारे खलु दुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहु मुरारे भज गोविंदम भज गोविंदम भज गोविंदम मूढ़मते प्राप्ते सन्निहिते नहीं रक्षति डुमकुच कर. Means this sansar, it is like ocean, and you cannot cross this ocean. How best you may be a swimmer, but you cannot cross this material ocean. So how you get out of that? So you need support of three things. That you have to have a very strong boat. Like they had what was kind of boat that they thought it will never get destroyed, but it got destroyed first time. So you need a stronger than that. So human life or human body is a strong boat. You need a captain, and you need the nice breezes. So breezes is by the mercy of Krishna that will bring it out, and captain that will, because without a captain you may have good breezes. It won't. It will just go round and round, and you cannot cross over. So if you have to cross over this Bhavasagar or material world, you have to have a so you have to have a human body. Only in human body, cats and dogs may swim, but they cannot cross the material world. And so they cannot go back home, back to Godhead. Our destination by Bhavasagar is to go to Krishna's abode. So our stay in the material world is caused by material desires, and the root of material desire is avidya. Avidya means no knowledge or ignorance, defined as forgetfulness of our real truth. I am the eternal. Our what is the truth? That I am the eternal servant of Krishna. That is our eternal truth, and we have to act on it as a servant of Krishna. Jiva Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. So transcendental knowledge revives our last memory of being a servant of Krishna, and therefore it can immediately award us liberation from the ocean of birth and death. So knowledge is a sword, and the verse about that is अपि चेदसि पापेभ्य सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव व्रजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि. Even if you are considered to be a most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So that is second comparison is by the knowledge is a boat. Transcendental knowledge is a boat. Then third one, anybody can think of. It's a big purport and big thing on this. Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyaite hi katita artha prakashante mahatmanah. Yasya deve para bhakti, that you have so much bhakti for the Supreme Lord. Same kind of bhakti should be there. Yatha deve tatha guru also should have the same way. Not that guru thinks that he is a god or nothing like that, but you should have the same feeling, not superficially. Tashyate kathita hi artha prakashante. So all kinds of transcendental knowledge is given by Krishna in him. Tesham evanu. Just like if you see this 10, 11. What is that verse? 4. 4 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. So that is Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnanajam tama nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. So that is, so now, so third one that we are compared with a deepak, lamp, torch light up, that give you the knowledge. And so that is also the, so first we compared with a fire, second we compared that with a as a boat, third one is the knowledge, transcendental knowledge, the lamp. So that lamp is there. Unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Lord Chaitanya was extremely pleased upon seeing the devotion of this Brahman. And who was that Brahman? There was in the Bengal, in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya, he was touring South India and he came across a Brahman. And Brahman was reading Bhagavad Gita upside down, but also he was, so many tears were falling up out of his eyes. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the matter? He said that my Lord is so compassionate. He is driving the chariot of Arjun and uh, is so wonderful. And just seeing that, that his compassion, his mercy, that my tears, they come out of my eye. So, how the Lord is Bhakta Vatsal, especially kind to his devotees. This thought makes me cry. In a purport to this pastime in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada is quoting this verse, Yeshadeva Parabhakti. So that is the third. What is the fourth one is compared transcendental knowledge to? So it could kill our all the desires of material enjoyment. It could reveal who we are, and we could go who we are, who is the Supreme Lord, and what is our relationship, and how to take down this relationship. So what is that fourth weapon of knowledge? Good, very nice, bravo, very nice. So we are always spiritual life. We are confronted with the doubts, uh, doubts about the existence of God, the spiritual world, one's own identity, the process of devotional service. Everywhere there is doubts. So Krishna says, 440, ignorance and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scripture do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubted soul, there is no happiness and there is no peace in the world, nor in the next life. So Gita is titled Surrender to Me. So Origin Prabhu also, that it is because of the doubt we remain in the material world. We do not have faith in the process. Although Shraddha, although even it may be soft, but there has to be some faith. Others people are coming, they have some faith that I am coming to the temple, I will get some knowledge, I will get some prasad, I will see the deities. So there is some faith, otherwise why they will come? Their coming is for certain purpose. But if they have doubt, oh, I don't want. I have nothing to do with this, your temple. I have some my own philosophy. So people may have doubt that whether by doing this process, whether this process will be effective in my case. So, but so no faith in the process, no faith, no hope, no optimism. Such doubters achieve happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Even fools attain some material happiness, but one who is doubtful, well, they are just going their way, and they may be better off than having the doubt in the spiritual process. Doubters attain none of this. So Arjun is often addressed Krishna as Madhusudanam. Madhusudan means killer of the Madhu demon. So he could kill our all the this doubter is like a demon, and he kills the, he's called Madhusudan, effortlessly kill the demon Madhu. Arjun requests Krishna to kill the demonic doubts, preventing him from performing his duty. Initially he would not fight. Oh, why I'll be killing so many my kinsmen, my cousins, and my guru and my grandfather, and what is there? Why I should fight? But when Krishna gave him the Bhagavad Gita knowledge, then he said, what is that verse that he said? Nasta moha smrtir ladva tat prasada achyuta mayachyuta. Yeah, and then he says that I will do whatever you say. I accept that. So tasmat agyana samhutam rat istam gyasina. So it is asin. Gyan, asin means that is sword. Sword is called also. The knowledge is compared to a sword. So therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. And sword of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharat, stand up and fight. So, knowledge through devotion. So, the value of transcendental knowledge cannot be overestimated. One who has knowledge quickly attains. So, we are all here to get the transcendental knowledge, Divya Gyan. The supreme peace, because he is free from the dualities and misconception, either this or that. दुविधा में दोनों गए माया मिली न राम. That in duvidha, both things are gone. Get some enjoyment of the material world and cannot even the Ram, means a Krishna. By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his conviction. But by mere academic knowledge, that is Paravidya and Jad Vidya. So by academic knowledge or Jad Vidya, that's why Prabhupada say, tell sometime in the beginning that going to college is like putting your children to slaughterhouse. He compared that to the slaughterhouse. You may say, why? Because our whole Divya Gyan, our whole good Bhejaram, good mind gets completely covered up by materialistic activity of the students, by the teaching, what the professors are giving away. What is the use? You have given up your whole material life. In the Western countries, you could see so much rampant, and even in India also, which is the place where the knowledge should come, but they are all following. And then everybody is completely, they give up their human life, which is purpose of human life, is to reach our goal of Krishna Bhakti, to go back home, back to Godhead, which does not happen. So we are killing those innocent souls by sending them to this higher knowledge and teaching and all this. So sometimes like people do homeschooling, so there is atmosphere is at least purer because they see from their uh, from their peers so many wrong things. So in that way, so there are so many contradictions. So in glorifying transcendental knowledge, in the following words, Krishna reveals that it is achieved by devotional service. Nahi jnanena sadrasham. So this is 438. Nahi jnanena sadrasham pavitramiha vidyate tat swayam yoga sansiddha kale natmani vindati. So this soft faith is becomes ado shraddha tata sadhu sangha tata bhajana kriya tata anartha nivritti shat. Then there is nistha. Nistha means firm of faith. That is, faith becomes more and more firm. Then asakti, ruchi, means you develop taste, then it becomes very sweet. And then you develop bhav, and then you come to Krishna Prem. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in practice of devotional service, he enjoys this knowledge within himself, and in due course of time, he will be able to go back home, back to Godhead, and get relief from all this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. We should see suffering. We think, oh, somebody's. So Janma should be seen as suffering. Mrityu, everybody knows it is suffering, but Jara, Vardhavastha, nobody want. Like I'm an old man. I want to become a child again. so, so I don't have to suffer the problems with old age. And so nobody wants a disease. Anyway, but one can get out by following this transcendental knowledge. So thank you so much for hearing and giving me your valuable time. If anybody has any comments, questions, so we can discuss that. This knowledge in detail between Vidur and Vidur discussed with Maitreya Muni. Maitreya Muni is contemporary of Vyasadeva. And so Vyasadeva and both studied, not Vyasadeva, this Sukadeva Goswami also studied with Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is his father, and Maitreya Muni. Anyway, so Maitreya Muni is the receptor. Maitreya Muni's son is really Vyasadeva. Is it? Maitreya? No. No. What is Parashar Muni? Right. Okay. Anyway, if there is any questions or comments about yes. Yes, Anas.
Thank you so much. Wonderful class, very much. I have a doubt. And requesting that you may be able to humbly help me with this stuff. Slash it with the torchlight, with the weapon of knowledge. So we see Prabhupada, he talks about going back to Godhead so often. Then also we read in other places that the devotees look at different types of liberation, one of them being Salokya maybe, where you go back to the abode of God and live amongst Him, but they consider these types of liberation like hell in comparison. But we see so much emphasis going back to Godhead, going back to Godhead. But wouldn't that just going back to Godhead be also seemingly hellish destination for the level of the devotee who's at that level of being so immersed in service?
See, it is not all kinds of liberation is hellish. Sayujya Mukti, merging with the Brahma Jyoti, remaining त्रिशंकु जैसे लड़के रहना, neither on there is no place. So Sahaja Mukti means merging with the Brahma Jyoti. That is hellish. But other kinds, but we are direct children of Krishna. Krishna wants us to come to Him, His abode, Golok Vrindavan. That's what Prabhupada is giving the topmost level that you can go by this transcendental knowledge. But if you want to remain and enjoy, that's separate. You can enjoy. But this Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sarsti, they are not hellish. Hellish is merging with the Brahma Jyoti, means becoming one with God. We cannot become one with God. So that is refuted. Okay? Yes. Hare Krishna.
You mentioned that as a devotee, we should not take care about the punya karma. The question is, person how get the devotion? If you want to do punya karma, because you need a patrata to accept the devotion. If the patrata is not there, the devotion will not acceptable. That's why we go outside for praja seva, and we see people who don't have a patrata. That's why they're not able to accept the devotion life. So patrata or punya karma is required to accept devotion service. So if we do not think in that way, then how will get the devotion? Or we can. So that's why we engage. Sometimes Prabhupada engages some activity so that the patrata or sukriti can develop it, so that they can easily understand the devotional life. So punya karma is somehow is required or not?
That's a very nice question. Many people have the doubt, but it should be service to Krishna. Punya karma has a good result. You could go to higher planetary system. You could enjoy, but again you fall down. So punya karma, shine punya mrityu lokam vishanti. When the punya karma is gone down, then you will fall back again. So they don't remain eternally. We are eternal being as a soul, and we should do it. So you could do all those things in service to Krishna. Come, clean the temple, cook for deities, decorate the deities, go teach about Krishna consciousness. So punya karma is not the same as devotional service. But it does not bring any sukrati. It's all for you, it could be sukrati. But real sukrati is like if some sadhu is there, you take their bag, show them the path, give them the ride, let them sit in the train, you stand up. So that is something to sadhu or extended form of Krishna and his devotees. They are on the same line. You serve, that is the beginning. So that is Agyat Sukrati. But this Sukrati is giving some food, giving some clothing, that does not lead to devotional activity.
But still, Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, we should not give giving charity.
Mhm.
In which chapter 68, why Krishna is telling that? Because if we start leaving those activities, just like in the first chapter, even where it's mentioned that we should not depend the kriya, right? After one die, so we do some rituals, right? So if that is given to us that we can be in the path according to the Shastras, and we can, when we have something, we can easily understand the thing very easily. But directly, what we see, if getting touching with the false money, the false money, gold, metal become a gold, right? That is true. But that is the nature of the false money, okay? But who person does not have such a faith, but if he is gradually increasing the doing some right, then he can easily also accept right.
But this pious activity do not bring into devotional service. He gets puffed up, he thinks I'm doing so much charity, I'm so nice, and that would cause his fall down. So better that you want to do some service, do in the temple, do for the devotees, preach, go out, sell books. That's what Prabhupada started. He gave these temples for us to do direct devotional service, and that will may bring you after many lifetimes, may bring you that I am doing this, but result is negative. I'm not becoming happy. So let me do something else. Let me go to the temple and learn from ISKCON what. So that would be the better. But yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think this point is very sometimes very confusing because on one hand Krishna is saying we should not stop the acts of charity. On the other hand, we learn that materially motivated charity is the enemy of devotional progress.
Right.
You see, so like Queen Kunti says, Janma Ishware Shuta Shri, Edamana Malakuman, that these things that are a result of doing punya, high birth, a lot of wealth, these are a result of doing punya, but they make you
Think that I don't have to do.
Mother Puman.
Yeah, Mother Pumani. They
They're
will
the
popped
enemy
up.
of a devotional progress. So I think that's the point. So sometimes very confusing that this charity and all will give me all these good things. This punya karma, punya results, is that going to be beneficial for my devotional service or not? Actually, it's not. It's opposite. So I think what Krishna is saying, you should not give it up. The whole point is that don't lose your it's a yoga ladder. If you are here, then this is the enemy. The good is the enemy of the perfect. Sometimes the
So
perfect
it's a slow process what you are saying. Why not Prabhupada taught us direct devotional service to go by the helicopter to the highest rung rather than by trail slowly by step. But if you want to do charity and all this, but you may deviate from the path also. You may be able to give.
Usually, like sometime when we talk about this like devotional service, see, we are in the process of devotion only, right? We are not purified. But when we speak about this, so people or devotees get in mentally that, oh, I need to serve Krishna. But what happens when some people come expecting something, think that only you should give this only thing which is required to Krishna, but if you don't give the what he exactly needed at that moment, then he will not understand your point of view, what you want to explain it. To some extent, you have to be.
See, if that is what you want, you can give it, but see the result for yourself. It would not bring a pure love of Godhead. We are looking for pure love of Godhead, loving devotional service to Krishna. And that won't bring you to that point. Only service to Krishna and his devotees and his extended area, like building temples, distributing books, feeding other people, and not like feed from the temple and they take prasad. Then, unless you are relieving the problems of others, this would not bring you to devotional service. Okay, I hope you understand. It's a complex subject, and Madan Gopal clearly gave the that you should not give it up because neither you do that nor you are doing devotional service. So you will completely fall down.
What I answer, I think that Prabhuji can continue during Prashad.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. और भक्त ब्रह्म की जय.